So again, I really appreciate you guys being here tonight with me and my fellow teammates. I'm really excited that either that you are interested in learning more about the opportunity of selling LuLaRoe, or that someone on my team said, hey, I really think you should check this out because I think you would be really good at it. My name is Samantha Maraglia, and I live in Mobile, Alabama. The Coast Guard brought us here, and my husband got out last August, and we're still here. I started LuLaRoe in May of 2015 when there were just over 2,000 consultants. I had never sold direct sales before, and I didn't even know what direct sales was. So, I mean, I knew the different businesses, but I had no idea how they worked. All I knew was that I really liked LuLaRoe, and I had gotten a maxi skirt, and that I wanted more clothes. So when they started selling online, I spent about $1,000 in 2 weeks, and I was a teacher. I was a middle school teacher, and I couldn't afford that. So I was like, hey, I need to join to get a discount. I saw the price, and I thought that's really crazy. But then again, I was the only person. There was nobody in my area, and the closest person to me was in Pensacola or New Orleans. So Pensacola is an hour to the east, and then New Orleans is 2 hours away to the west. So I was like, hey, you know, eventually this is going to blow up, and I want to be the first. So that's what I did, and I joined LuLaRoe, and it's been a wonderful journey. I quit my job. I put in my notice last January, but because I taught in the hood, I knew that my students were going to have a substitute for the rest of the school year, that they wouldn't be able to find a teacher to replace me. And so I kept working my business while I was teaching. So May to January, however long that is, that's how long it took me to just sell enough to replace my paycheck. That wasn't relying on any money from bonus checks or growing a team or anything like that, because I didn't do that initially. I wanted to learn the business before I started to grow a team, and I wanted to make sure that I would be a good sponsor. So that's what I did. And different people take different paths, and that was just mine. So I'm going to jump into the most common questions and answers. What's up?
I found it lavender.
Okay, thank you. Kiss. Good night. I love you. I don't want to see you again, though, because it's 8:11. I'm so sorry. Okay, so the first big question is, what is a sponsor? Your sponsor is basically the person that introduced you to LuLaRoe. They are your support system. It's the first person that you go to ask any questions. They help you get into the business. And their job isn't to run your business for you, but here's just a short list of expectations of your sponsor. Provide you with a warm welcome. They put your needs first, because if you succeed, then they succeed. They're always going to provide, they introduce you to the team and the company. And if you're on this call, then you would be in my downline. I would be your trainer. They train and support you early when you're starting out. You're going to have a million questions. Before you even join, you're going to have a million questions because this is a big, endeavor. But they continue to help you to learn the business. They help you to understand bonus plans, how you can benefit from it. They keep you informed on trainings, both local and online. And then they kind of model for you what you should expect your business to look like. So you want to make sure, I feel like other than joining LuLaRoe, picking a sponsor is the most important decision that you make. Because you can't change sponsors once you sign up the join link. So if you filled out a join link, that is your sponsor. And the only way to change that is to decline your call when LuLaRoe calls to onboard you, and then to wait 6 months and then sign up with the new sponsor. That is the only way that you can do it. And the reason for that is there were some unethical people in the past that would go through and find people that were in the queue and say, hey, I'll be a better sponsor, or hey, you know, I'll pay for this or that. And it was just really like, it wasn't a cute look, and it wasn't in line with the core values of LuLaRoe. So they did away with that. So you need to make sure that you choose a sponsor wisely. My sponsor personally quit LuLaRoe 2 months after I signed up, and she didn't like say, hey, Sam, I'm quitting. It was more like, hey, has anybody seen my sponsor around? Like, she's still selling? Because she's not writing me back. So you don't want that to happen to you. And I was blessed because I just rolled up to her sponsor, who is a mentor in the company, one of the top earners. So I get like all the information, and it's awesome. And if that were to happen to you on this team, you would roll up to me, and I'm not going anywhere anytime soon because I love my business with LuLaRoe, and I don't plan on quitting until the company dissolves. And that's probably never going to happen because there's a trust and it's going on. So you will not be left high and dry on this team. I can promise you that. What does it cost to start a LuLaRoe business? It's not like most MLMs. It's just under $5,000, but it's not like most MLMs where you have a cheap startup kit and then there's maintenance fees and there's, you know, all these things. You're purchasing sellable inventory. The onboarding package, there's 3 different packages, and your sponsor will get you that list. Just ask them for it. Is 3 different packages, and the smallest one gives you 290 pieces, and it's just under $5,000. That package is constantly changing because what they're doing is they're trying to give you the best-selling styles that LuLaRoe offers so that you start off with a successful business. But when it does change, you don't really have to worry about the money as much because they try to keep it about the same price point. It's not going to go up by $1,000 or down by $1,000. And I suggest that when you start your business, you start with that smallest package. And then if you want to add leggings or add a dress or whatever that's not in that package, you could do so starting the day you onboard. You could place an order for whatever you would like to add. You don't necessarily need to go for the more expensive package just to get that specific dress or that specific top that might be in that package. So are there any hidden startup fees? There are not. You purchase inventory, and that's it. There's no website, there's no brochures or catalogs that you're going to sell out of. So it's strictly just clothes. There's no hidden fees. There's no application fee or anything like that either. What other costs can I expect? I personally constantly suggest starting simple. You do not have to have a mannequin or a backdrop. You do not have to have a lighting kit. You do not have to have a dymo. You don't have to have these things. I started my business with clothes, racks, and hangers, and that was it. I printed my shipping labels on my home computer. I just taped them to the little poly mailers. I actually didn't even start poly mailers until about 8 months into my business because I was using flat rate envelopes, and I got those for free from the post office. So I was doing everything on the cheap, and I started a successful business. You don't need to invest $20,000 in a Lula truck. You do not need to invest $10,000 in a remodel. You don't have to have a department store. You just need the clothes, the hangers, and the desire to succeed, and you can start a very successful and lucrative business. So what do you get for your $5,000? You get a welcome kit that has great marketing materials, planners, different kind of things from the supply shop that LuLaRoe runs, that kind of just good little things to get you started, hostess brochures to pass out, join the movement booklets for people that are interested, and then 290 pieces of brand new LuLaRoe straight out of the warehouse. And it can be sold the day you get it. Do you get to pick what you sell? You do get to choose your package, and you do, after the initial order, which with the initial order, you get to choose exactly what you would like to order. but you do have to choose that initial package. So it needs to be package 1, 2, or 3. But after that, you could choose any style and size, however many items as you want, and it doesn't have to be in a set pack. So just because the packaged add-on leggings says 15 tall and curvy and 15 one size, that doesn't mean that every time you want tall and curvy or one size that you have to order 15 of each. You can order one of each item if you would like to in every size. We do not get to pick our prints, but we do get to pick the size and the style. And that's kind of a blessing, because things that I love, somebody else might hate. Things that I hate and I never thought I would sell have sold, and they've made my customers so happy. The ones that fell in love with them really love them, and I just thought it was awful. But LuLaRoe does require a minimum of 30 pieces in each of your orders, and that's because they give us free UPS ground shipping, which is awesome. So you can order anything that you would like as long as you have 30 pieces in your total order. And then you get 5% discount off of everything off that wholesale amount. So that's pretty awesome. How do I come up with the money for onboarding? A lot of people on our team have had really good success with going through their local bank and taking out a personal loan, or doing a 0% APR credit card, like 0% for 6 months or a year or 2 years, however long, depending on your credit. Some people have borrowed from their 401k, and then I personally didn't have a retirement at the time that was worth more than $1,000, and I could not get a personal loan. I could not get a credit card because I had had a bankruptcy 2 years before I was signing up with LuLaRoe. So those were not options for me. Luckily, I was able to go to Avant.com, AVANT, and I was able to get a loan, and it was at 38% interest, but I paid it off so quickly that I only had that horrible interest for a short time. Which leads us into how quickly will I pay my investment back? Now, this is going to vary case to case. It's really going to depend on your hustle, how bad you want it, and if you can turn that how bad you want it into doing it. I have had girls make it back in a weekend. Said girl turned around and took her entire sale, all the money that she made and that she could have paid her loan off with, and she put it back into her inventory. And this girl now has over 800 pieces of LuLaRoe, and it's awesome. And so monthly, she easily sells $10,000 to $12,000 without an issue because she has a nice large inventory. And she ended up paying herself back in 3 months, I believe, and grew her inventory. But it does depend on your hustle. The average in-home party, and when I say in-home party, I'm talking about prepping your hostess and making sure you get the most out of your time. You're going to sell about 25 pieces. And if you were to sell 25 pieces at each party and did one party in-home per week, it would take you 90 days to pay your investment back without growing your inventory or anything like that. So you can pay yourself back in three months, but I personally suggest growing your inventory the first 3 months, and then you'll easily pay yourself back in 3 months or less on the back end. So 6 months total is what I really suggest. It could take a lot longer. If you are not willing to put the work into your business and you expect to just post everything to Facebook and it's going to sell, it might take you longer, but that's why I'm here. And that's why we do weekly trainings on my team. And I'm here to help you whenever you need. And you also have a sponsor. That's awesome. What is the queue and how long will I have to wait to onboard? So the queue is what they named the wait list for people that have signed all their contracts and they're ready. They've said, I want to sell LuLaRoe. I've committed to it. And I've picked my sponsor, and they fill out what's called the join link. Whenever you say, okay, I'm ready to do it. Hey, Crystal, I'm ready to join. What do I do? She's going to send you her join link, and you're going to fill it out. You're going to sign all the documents electronically. And from that point, it takes 6 to 10 weeks until you onboard. But that 6 to 10 weeks, you're waiting in what's called the queue. When do I have to have the money for my package? You have to have it by the time you get that call from home office in 6 to 10 weeks. But you can push the date. If you need to wait a month or two or a week or two, up to 6 months, you can push that call off. And if you decide that you don't want to sell LuLaRoe and you change your mind while you're in the queue, while we will be very sad, there's no penalty. So if it's something that you are even seriously considering, I really do suggest going ahead and getting that join link and getting it filled out and getting yourself in the queue, because you are going to spend the next 8 to 10 months figuring out finances, getting training on how to launch your business, and learning everything you need to learn. So right now you're in the research phase and you're like, okay, I want to make sure this business is a good fit for me. And we are only authorized to give you so much information. But once you decide that I'm going to fill out that join link, you are saying this is the person that you want to be your sponsor, we're going to add you to our team page, and there you're going to get all the training that everybody else gets, where you will be able to access all the training and all the things that I have taught my girls to help them succeed. You'll be able to access that, and you'll also be able to access all the other girls on the team. I know that we have our potential consultant group that is Selling LuLaRoe for Me page, and there's great information on there, but you really get to know the team once you say, all right, I'm going to sign up with LuLaRoe. And then you have 6 to 8 weeks to decide if you are just like, yep, never mind, just kidding. I was just testing you. And that's fine. There's no penalty. How do I sign up for LuLaRoe? Like I said, we'll send you a link, and your sponsor will walk you through that entire process every step of the way. What if I decide I do not want to sell LuLaRoe anymore? If you just decide it's not for you, we have an 88% retention rate, which is unheard of in direct sales. And the reason for that is, the businesses are successful, and the only people that I know that have left the business, including my sponsor, is for personal family reasons. Like, they didn't think they were going to have any more kids, and then, oh my God, we're going to have another kid, and I have to quit my job. Like, just crazy family stuff. So that's the only people that I know that have quit LuLaRoe on my team personally. What if I decide I don't want to sell LuLaRoe anymore? So you can sell back to our team or to other consultants. You could sell all your items at wholesale, and you get back 100% of your investment. Or you can sell it back to LuLaRoe in bags for a 15% restock fee. So if you put it in bags, you're only losing 10% because they gave you 5% off to start. And to be honest, I've actually sold off my entire inventory twice because I was going on an extended vacation and I was trying to help out my team. They needed inventory. The warehouse was not necessarily getting things out as fast as these people had needed. So I sold them a bunch of stuff, and I sold my entire inventory minus 30 pieces the first time I didn't sell, and 10 pieces the second time. So I would have just been sending 30 pieces back to LuLaRoe, and I would have, gotten 90% back for that. So it's really not hard to offload your entire inventory if it's something you don't want to do. So it's really a very low risk investment. If you didn't want to deal with selling wholesale and you put everything in a bag and sent it back to LuLaRoe, you get 90% of your investment back. So a lot of potential with a little bit of risk, and you don't really find that very often. And people say if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But this isn't too good to be true. This is me telling you, you're going to have to work to have a successful business. And you need to manage your expectations. You need to plan on reinvesting in your inventory. You need to plan on, I would say, making $6,000 your first couple months. I feel like $6,000, when I had 300 pieces, that's what I sold. I sold $6,000 a month. As I've grown my inventory, that number's obviously climbed. But when you're first starting out, that's realistic. How many LuLaRoe consultants does the company have? And currently, the last number I've heard was 67,000. And I think there's 10 to 12,000 in the queue. So then that leads to the question, are there too many consultants selling already? I say absolutely not. I challenge you to go to your local Target and count how many people are wearing LuLaRoe. That's it. Go to the airport. Count how many people you see that are wearing LuLaRoe. It is still such a small company. And I mean, if you look at the other companies like Pampered Chef and Avon and, you know, Jamberry and all the different direct sales, they don't have anywhere near as many consultants and they're not selling near as much. So saturation doesn't exist. And also because we all have different inventories. So I'm constantly sending people to my downline, to my girls that have what they're looking for. It does not hurt me to say, hey girl, no, I don't carry Randy's, but Desiree does. And here, let me get you her information and get you in contact with her. I just helped my sister out. It didn't hurt me at all because we're not selling the same thing. We have different inventories, and even if we have all the same styles, we have different prints. So it actually benefits you to help one another because you show awesome customer service, and your customers love that. And I actually know somebody on this call right now that actually really liked that, and that intrigued them about this business. When will I see a profit from my business? Like all good things in life, it does take time. You're going to want to reinvest most of your profit back into your business, especially for your first 90 days. But once you reach 80 to 1,000 pieces, you're going to have optimal profit, and you're going to be seeing $12,000 to $15,000 in sales every month. And I wanted to talk to you guys for a minute about the 4 stages of growth. And there's 4 stages of growth in MLMs, multi-level marketing businesses. So the first one's formation, and a lot stop there. They don't quite get off the ground. So you have to form this corporation and figure out your goals and how you're going to accomplish everything. And then there's concentration, and that's where you find your market, you make your foundation. And normally this takes companies anywhere from 3 to 5 years, which LuLaRoe is officially 3.5 now. And they're already out of the concentration phase. We're in the rapid growth phase. And this is where the millionaires are made. And direct sales accounts for more millionaires than any other industry. It makes more millionaires than any other industry, should I say. You see explosive growth, you see explosive team growth, and that is exactly where we are in LuLaRoe. We're at a point where we are doubling our business from one month to the next, and that's huge. That's so many lives that we're blessing. And giving, just spreading this opportunity, and it's wonderful. And when I started out, I was talking to some of the girls that are now on my team, and I said, hey, I really do think you would be good at this, and I really think you should join now, because if you don't, someone else will in your area, and then they're just going to take all the money that you could have had. And then they signed up anyway, and they're still making great money. But now is the time. Just because there's 67,000 consultants doesn't mean that it's oversaturated and the explosive growth is over. By all means, it's not. When you look at the other direct sales companies, there's over 100,000 in each of them. You can't turn a corner and not see a Jamberry girl. And they're all selling the exact same thing. This company, we have less than Jamberry does, and we all sell something different. And clothes, it's something you need. I do not know a single nudist, so I'll tell you what, the market out there for people that wear clothes is kind of big. I'm just saying. And then momentum is the last stage. It's the 4th stage of growth. And I'm actually going to read to you guys real quick, because I just felt like I couldn't say this better myself. So when I was doing my research for this call tonight, I just thought it was so awesome. It says momentum. Again, there's no set rule as to when or if a company will hit momentum. However, it is generally after 7 years. 7 years, formulation and concentration. Once a company has built a solid foundation of leaders who are all working the business as their primary revenue stream. During momentum, an MLM company will experience explosive growth, and distributors will see rapid team growth. While most consider concentration to be the time to enter an MLM, momentum is the best time to be part of one. MLM momentum can last a year or 2, but could go much longer depending on the viability of the opportunity, the products, and of course, team support. During this phase, many MLM millionaires are born. And even the average distributor can do very well with building a successful business. The challenge, of course, is that momentum is just a phase that will come to a close at some point. However, if all goes well in this phase, an MLM company can see sales that exceed hundreds of millions, and for some, they even break the billion-dollar threshold, a level that only a few companies have ever hit. So I will tell you guys, we are still in the rapid growth stage. We're not at momentum yet because we are experiencing that explosive growth and that explosive team growth. And that's what they're talking about. That is the time that you want to get in the business because that's when the millionaires are made. And they said, however, if all goes well, they might break the billion-dollar threshold, a level that only a few companies have ever hit. LuLaRoe closed out 2016 with $1 billion in sales. Yeah. In 3 years, LuLaRoe hit the billion-dollar threshold. So it's something that if you're really considering, you've got to figure out how to get in on this because it really is awesome. And I'm just an average girl. Like, I don't make $100,000 a month by any means. I make triple my paycheck as a teacher, though, and I'm freaking proud of that. Like, I work my business really hard, and between my sales and now growing a team, I make 3 times what I made as a teacher. It took me a minute. I did my work and it's paid off and I enjoy this work. So if it sounds like something that you're interested in, you definitely, we could talk about it further, but you need to get talking to a sponsor and you need to get that ball rolling because it's a really exciting time to join this company. Do I have to do in-home parties or do I have to sell online? You're not required to do either. If you would like to just do in-homes, you can. If you'd like to just do online, you can. And we could talk about that further once you join our team because there's certain, formulas and we figured it out. Like, I've been through it. I can help you. Can you make your own prices for the clothing? No, there is a suggested range. Like MSRP range that we have to stay within, whether we're in person or not. And at that high end, that's what we are required to sell our pieces or that we are required to advertise our pieces at. So I can't go out and say, hey, leggings are $10 today. I can't do that. It devalues the brand and it kind of, there's a lot of things that go into it. And as a business person, it's a bad habit. So we're not allowed to do that. And we can, again, talk about that further. But you can set your prices accordingly at an in-person pop-up. You're just not allowed to advertise them at that price. What is the profit margin? It's 45 to 60% depending on the item. What about prints I don't like? Can I return them? If you don't like a print, somebody else will. They're going to love it. And you can definitely sell it to somebody. Like I said, I got some really things that I thought were awful. And I sold them and they made the people really happy. We cannot return any items to LuLaRoe unless they're defective or if you choose to close out your business and cancel your contract. Do you have to build a team to be successful? No, you do not. Based on my sales from November and December alone, I made about $5,000 in profit, $5,000 to $6,000 each month in profit after taxes. And that does not include any bonus checks that I got for growing a team. So that's just in sales alone. How much does the top paid consultant make? The top consultant sold $60,000 in January of last year. And then the top team building consultant got a monthly bonus check of $159,000. So that is like the biggest team in LuLaRoe. That's what she makes in a month. Let's see. And again, once you decide to become a LuLaRoe consultant, your sponsor will walk you through the entire process. And if you have any questions after this call, feel free to reach out to your sponsor because they're more than happy to help you. But right now, I would like to open it up to questions and answers. So if you have any questions, I'm going to turn on my chat. If you want to turn your microphone on and just say it, you're more than welcome to. If you want to just type it out, you're more than welcome to do that as well. But the time is y'all's. So let me know what kind of questions I can answer that you ran across.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
As many as I've asked in the last week, I still have questions.
It's okay. We all do.
I know I might have asked this before, but I just want to make sure I have this right. So when you file your taxes, you have a CPA that does your taxes. So you do those quarterly? You pay them quarterly?
Some people do, and I was bad and I didn't. So
so you owed a whole bunch at the end of the next
year. Yeah. Well, yeah. I set away a good chunk to pay my taxes, but I did not pay them quarterly like I should have.
Yeah, I talked to another consultant. They suggested I pay them quarterly to keep up with it better.
Yeah.
So it's a big chunk of money at the end of the year.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Okay, so the other questions I had were related to what you were talking about, like stuff that would be listed on the team page for training after I commit to the queue,
right.
Or join or whatever. And I guess I can't ask those here. So
what? It just continued training?
No, you were talking like formulas for like if I wanted to start off doing Facebook Live sales.
Oh, I just wholeheartedly believe in diversifying how you reach your customers. So I full-heartedly believe that you need to have at least one open house every month. You need to have a Facebook Live every month. You need to have an album sale every month. And you need to have an in-person sale. Like, I feel like you want to reach as many of the people of the world as you possibly can. So I feel like diversifying is the absolute best formula because – when you...
That makes sense, because you're hitting all target markets, really.
Yeah.
You're hitting all those people that like to shop different ways at different times. So.
And when online slows down in the summer, you can have some in-person parties to sustain your business. If you can't book a pop-up to save your life in January, you have your online to sustain your business. So I just believe in not putting all your ducks in one basket.
Okay. That makes sense.
And then I got a bunch of my teammates. And then I have Cheryl on here. Cheryl, do you have any questions for me? You're more than welcome to type them if you don't want to talk. And you don't have to turn on your camera in order for us to hear you as well.
Hi, everybody. I don't have any questions. I actually became a consultant the 1st of November, so we're still fairly new. I keep referring to we because I have my daughter who helps me. She's my personal assistant, I guess I could say.
Oh, okay. Is this Sherry?
Yeah, this is Sherry.
Oh, okay. See, I saw Cheryl, and I was like, who? Okay.
Yeah, so it comes up as Cheryl's iPhone. You know how that is. But yes,
right.
So my name is Sherry. But yeah, so I thought I would sit in because we do have 2 to 3 people who are hoping to sign on with our team.
Okay.
So I just wanted to come on and obviously listen to see what information you could provide, Sam, and then see what other questions others might have in case obviously we're hit with those questions. But I'm glad that this is being recorded because unfortunately none of them were able to attend. It was like a last minute thing. I should have sent the notice out sooner and I'm so sorry I didn't. So
it's okay.
So yeah, so the recording will definitely come in handy, but I think even when we were looking to onboard, a lot of the questions pertain to taxes, and so that'll be fairly new for us as well, because obviously, we'll be hitting our first tax year, this year. But yeah, so as of now, the greatest thing I can say is that, the team has been absolutely wonderful. Whenever we have a question, you all are so quick to respond and to offer any support and guidance, and we just can't be more thankful for that. So thank you very much. But I don't think we have any other questions. Again, as questions come up as you move through each day, I mean,
Right.
you're always going to have questions. Situations pop up, and you're not sure how to handle them or what, how to best answer questions. And then, of course, you just have the support of your team, which is a huge asset. It's your biggest asset. So, yeah. So, as you were saying earlier, I think it's so essential that you pick a sponsor that you feel comfortable with, and just realize that you're going to be establishing a very close relationship with that individual and your team. So, yeah. So, and this is a wonderful team. So yeah. So, thank you.
I gotta tell you that, really, thank you for sharing that, because my why changed from, my family and me centered, to making sure that my girls are good. Because I take it very seriously that somebody trusted me enough to invest $6,000 that, who has really? And, start a business, and had enough trust that I would be able to help them to make it successful. And it really is a sisterhood on our team. We don't do drama. We follow rules, and we have successful businesses, and we follow the rules. So we don't get caught in trouble with LuLaRoe, and we respect our partnership with them. And it's a sisterhood. It really is. I absolutely love it. And I will say about the tax question, that is just something, if anybody is giving you tax advice, it really concerns me when I see that, because tax is like a fingerprint, and we just had a training about this, about admin and, taxes and everything else for our team right before this call. And I said, taxes are like a fingerprint where everybody has a different one. You could have two people that get paid the exact same amount from the exact same company, and their taxes are not going to look the same, because everybody's situation is completely different. So it's really something, if somebody is offering advice about taxes and they don't know your tax situation, just, you get what you pay for. And also the people at H&R Block and the little tax plate, like Liberty Tax, whatever, they have the sign spinners, and they pop up randomly, in a strip mall. Those people are not CPAs. They are basically taking your information and inputting it into a computer through a system like TurboTax. It tells them what questions to ask and enter number here. And that's not a CPA. That is not somebody that can advise you on your business, your taxes, or any filing, any of that. So I highly recommend talking to a CPA before you join. And if you don't, you want to talk to one shortly after, because they're going to give you a concise list of what they need from you for your situation. Because what you need and what I need are totally different. And I can give you my list, but I promise you it's not going to be the same as yours, because everybody has a different situation. So definitely talk to a CPA. Ask around if you can't find anybody that can give you a recommendation, because LuLaRoe is a really unique business. The Better Business Bureau, actually, you could find a good CPA on there. Are there any other questions or any other thoughts?
I have another question.
Absolutely. Shoot.
Of course.
Of course. I do too. I'm the queen of a million questions.
I've already asked Desiree a million questions too.
Oh, I know. Quick story about questions. When I was teaching, my vice principal gave me 5 tickets every day, and it was questions. I was only allowed to use 5 I was only allowed to ask 5 questions every day.
Oh no. You really had to think about those.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I'd sit down and ask 25 questions. So
sounds like me.
Yeah.
Recruiting bonuses. I haven't really asked a whole lot about that. How does that work?
So currently, the bonus structure is that once you sponsor somebody directly, you get 5% of their wholesale orders in a bonus check. In order to get that bonus check, you do have to, yeah, you are, Desi. In order to get that bonus check, the sponsor has to order 175 pieces in a month. And the only reason for this is so that LuLaRoe makes sure that somebody's not signing up a bunch of people and then just leaving them to hang. Because, you can't really teach somebody how to have a successful business if you don't have a successful business. So LuLaRoe tries to make sure that is what the deal is. That is going to switch from pieces purchased. It's going to switch over to sales. So instead of it being an order-based leadership bonus plan. It's going to be a sales-based leadership bonus plan. But that's the first level of leadership, is being a sponsor. And once you sponsor somebody, that's when you start getting bonus checks. And that's 5% of your directs wholesale orders.
Another question was, how do you figure out your sales? Now, I'm not going to mention the name of the company, and you know which company I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That I'm still with, but I'm not like working it as a business. Now, they consider sales what you actually order from the company, the retail value. How does LuLaRoe consider sales? Like this, your actual sales that you make. Do they do it the same way, or do they do it?
Desi, I know you're like a zombie right now, but can you answer this one? Because I don't know how that company works compared to LuLaRoe in that aspect.
Did they consider it like what you're purchasing from the company is your sales, or do they basically?
No, we have to run all
people are buying from you. We have to processing through the system.
Yeah, we have to run all of our transactions through the LuLaRoe system that's named Audrey. So that's how you figure out your sales.
Okay, that was my question. Okay, that's answered that.
Yes,
because it was different. And I know it's different, like at the weekly meetings, like we consider our sales actually what the customers buy, but in reality, like they consider like that what you order from the company is your. It was kind of weird, confusing. So
that is confusing, because what about when you do?
Well, it's basically tied into star consultant status. So like when you're investing in, you're buying from the company so much, anyway, it's kind of weird. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Yeah. See, she's saying on the chat, they will keep up with your sales. The other company did it only by whole. See, that's what I was talking about. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Good. That makes it easier.
What other questions you got?
I think that's it. Because I think I already asked all the other questions that I had.
Good. I mean, I hope this was helpful, and I know you're going to join our team. It's just a matter of time. But
it's getting the funding. Yeah, I'm just waiting on the rest of the funding. So
yeah, I hear you, and I appreciate you being on. You're the only one that's not on my team. So I mean, it's cool because I recorded it, and what's really cool is like this was helpful to you, but also, I mean, it's going to help other consultants down the line. When you do join the team, it'll help you when you want to start, bringing people onto your team when you have enough experience and you're ready. So, I mean, this is a training right here. Training isn't always just like, hey, I'm going to sit and talk at you, Do
you do weekly, trainings like this on?
Yes, on Zoom.
Okay. I used to do that with Plexus. So
yes.
I used to do that.
I do a weekly webinar, and it varies from week to week to week. And I always record them, and then I post them because, sometimes you feel like you're saying the same thing over and over again. So then that video is there so that our newbies can access it. So once you join the team, you can see our webinars from 2 months back, and then there's weekly trainings from the company. Yes.
I see what she just put. Okay.
Multiple calls from the company.
Now, was there something going on in Atlanta with the company LuLaRoe recently? There was training or something in Atlanta?
There was when me and Desi and everybody came out.
Yeah. Is that something that they do like once a year or quarterly?
Twice a year. They do like a tour across the country. They go all over the place. And our closest one was Atlanta this past time. But yeah, it's once in the spring and then once in the fall. And I'm excited to find out what the spring dates are because it's open to everyone, whether you're on board, considering, or you're in the queue. It's free. It's a one-day training, and it's just really awesome. You get to meet home office staff and a lot of great information.
Cool. Yeah. That's nice.
And then once a year, there's convention, and that is in California. And it is the last week of July. But, I mean, that's like a 4-day of, like, get a hotel, have to pay for your ticket, like, big thing. But LuLaRoe does nothing small. And anytime you can get there and, like, be around everybody, like people that are like-minded and are killing it in this business, you definitely want to be there if you're able. So I did not go this past year. I just had some personal stuff going on, so I was really sad. And they always like launch brand new styles, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to go to convention this year.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's pretty much everything I had, so that I can think of right now.
All righty. Anybody
Thank
else
you.
have any questions? Anything to add? Or I'm going to wrap it up, Buttercup. All righty. Everybody have a good night, and thank you for hanging out.
Bye.
Bye.